What's going on, guys, and welcome to Wrestlemania 33. We are officially a week away from Wrestlemania 40. That's right, in 7 days. Yeah, next Saturday. I will be in Philadelphia, and we will all be watching WrestleMania 40 live. I cannot begin to express how excited I am for this. It is going to be so much fun, but before we get there, we must wrap up these 39 WrestleManias in 39 days. We're here with WrestleMania 33, as I said. Those are Rob's ratings on the side, A through F. WrestleMania card is at the top. This is one of the first WrestleManias where you start to kind of get the idea that maybe we should split this into two. This WrestleMania is 5 hours long. It's 10 matches. It's 5 hours long because WrestleMania has more than matches on it. And the entrances are elaborate and everything like that. So this 34 and 35 kind of seal the deal that we should probably go ahead and expand this. This was April 2nd, 2017 in Orlando, Florida. We're getting closer to that pandemic one and also the two-night one, since they're the same. But yeah, let's go ahead and start this card off with AJ Styles versus Shane McMahon. A shockingly phenomenal match, and I'm sorry that I keep using that pun, but I've said phenomenal a lot long before the phenomenal one entered the picture, so I think I'm safe from that. But this match was absolutely incredible. The back and forth was great. I was shocked as Shane McMahon. The action was fun. The drama was enticing. Shane was flawless. AJ Styles was rolling. Easily Shane McMahon's best match ever so far. The setup for the Coast to Coast was great with Styles failing his attempt, Shane hitting his. The brawl into wrestling, into fighting, into weapons after the ref bump was a natural motion. Good back and forth, a decent setup story to make this match feel important for Styles. Overall, a contender for best opener in my opinion. I thoroughly enjoyed this match. I gave it an 8 out of 10. Styles would go on to win this match and get at least that first WrestleMania moment out of his way. Rob agrees. He gave this match a B, so that is exactly where I think it should go. 8 out of 10. Fantastic. Next up, we have Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho, who is the champion coming in for the United States title. Kevin Owens would go on to win this match. Another banger! I thought Kevin Owens... I mean, listen, like I said, Kevin Owens only puts on bangers. He could be with the worst person in the entire roster, and he'll still drain something good out of that match. That's still true today. He gets a fantastic match out of Jericho here. The back and forth is a blast. The spots are great from both men. Pop-up power bombs, walls of Jericho out of a cannonball, which is was an amazing scene. Perfect timing. Lots of counters and near falls. The finish is the only spot that I was kind of taken aback from. A power bomb to the corner of the ring apron. That's it. You powerbombed him into the ring apron and then rolled him in. I think that was a finisher for him for a while, but I think he ends up getting someone hurt doing it. Either that or it's just a really odd finisher. But he hits him, rolls him in, and that was the finish. But I don't think it really hurt the match too much. I gave the match a 7 out of 10. I thought it was a really decent match. Really good back and forth. Rob agrees. Gave this match a B as well. So we've got back-to-back decent bangers to open this WrestleMania up, an 8 and a 7. So good so far. Next up, we have the Fatal 4-Way Elimination match for the Raw Women's Championship between Bayley, who was the champion coming in and would win, Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks, and Nia Jax. This is exactly what I expected this match to be. Nia wrecks things for a few minutes. The trio realize eliminating her first is the right idea. Always a dominating woman. Always requires multiple people to truly take her out, unless you're Rhea Ripley. But even still, it took a lot for Rhea Ripley to take her out in Perth, Australia at Elimination Chamber. At the time, she was obviously not quite as safe, but I don't think she injured anyone else in this match, which is always a plus for her. But that is why she got eliminated first. It took a triple powerbomb by all three women, and all three of them stacking up on top of her to eliminate her. And then it became the match everyone was expecting. Nia was a late addition to this match. She was not supposed to be in it initially. It was supposed to be Bayley, Charlotte versus Sasha. I honestly am glad that you added Nia to it. Added a little bit extra to this match. Otherwise, I would have been 100% positive that Bayley was winning. But I thought that the match was really good when it became the three of them. Charlotte's corkscrew moonsault is a thing of beauty. I hope she can still hit it when she comes back from her injury, even though it is an injury to her knee. I may not be a fan of how she's always in title contests, but she always puts on a really good WrestleMania match at the very least. Sasha gets taken out after Charlotte removed the cover on the middle rope turnbuckle. Sasha has Charlotte rolled up into a pin. Charlotte pushes her off into the exposed metal, knocking her out and allowing Charlotte to pin her. I wasn't crazy about that finish. I thought that was kind of, I don't want to say lazy, but it kind of was. It was like a cheap way to get her out. It made sense. You bounce your head off a metal ring post, you're going to be out. But I would have liked to see her actually lose to a move, personally. But it's whatever. Bayley and Charlotte have a great back and forth, and then it just kind of ends out of nowhere. It's another really weird pin. There's almost no good dramatic 2 counts. No finisher flurries, no real drama, just a Macho Man elbow off the top rope for Bayley to win. That's it, new finisher. Again, it's cool. I've heard her use a move that's inspired by Legends as part of her character. The match could have used a couple more minutes, perhaps, especially between Bayley and Charlotte. The match was trending towards a 3rd straight B, but instead I gave this match a 6 out of 10 because of the bad finish to Sasha and the bad finish to Charlotte for Bayley to pick up the win. So I gave this match a 6. Rob actually agrees and gave this match a 6 as well. Again, not sure for the same reasons or not, but regardless, it ends up equaling out the same. And next up we have the WWE Raw Tag Team Champion Fatal 4-Way, even though the match card only has 3. That is because the Hardy Boys return out of nowhere. They were not planned for this match. They were not promoted, so this was that out-of-nowhere return. A very close-kept secret. They go on to win against Big Cass and Enzo Amore, Cesaro, wow, and Sheamus. And the Club, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. However, given the profanity for the Hardy Boys that Rob has, I believe it would be best for us to let him discuss how excited he was for this return in today's match review. What's going on, everybody, and welcome to WrestleMania 33 match review. My name is Nomad, or Eric, and this is apparently Jeff Hardy here. You just totally threw me off into you came so close to my face. That would have been really bad. Anyway, we're here with a 4-way ladder match between Enzo and Cass, Cesaro and Sheamus, and the Club. Cesaro and Sheamus were, of course, called The Bar, with the surprise entrant, the Hardy Boys. So let's go ahead and set the scene here. Obviously, the other 3 teams come out. They're prepared for a triple threat ladder match. The New Day come to the ring and basically make their announcement that there's going to be a 4th team involved in the match. And, of course, that means everyone's thinking it's going to be the New Day, right? Mm-hmm. Swerve time, the Hardy Boys come out. They would go on to win the match. Let me go ahead and pull my notes up here. I have the wrong 4-way. Here it is. A phenomenal car crash. Adding the Hardys ignited the crowd, who stayed hot the entire match. I like how they didn't turn this into the Hardy Party, though. Everyone still got great offense. The Club was hot. Enzo and Big Cass were inventive. And Sheamus and Zara were phenomenal alone and dominant as a tag team. Sheamus brogue kicking Hardy into the swanton off the top rope anyway. Onto everyone. Had me off my chair. Great spots and teams that we hadn't really seen in these matches before. Obviously, I'm speaking strictly WrestleMania. We've obviously seen these teams in these matches in other pay-per-views, but this is specifically WrestleMania related. Seeing the Hardys fight new teams was so much fun. Twist of Fate off the top of the ladder onto Anderson, and a Jeff Hardy signature swanton off the top ladder onto Cesaro and Sheamus laying on 2 ladders. It's not a new spot. Doesn't matter. Still a sight to see every time he does it. I gave this match a 9 out of 10. I loved it. Mm-hmm. You gave this match, I believe, a B+?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so obviously, Hardy Boys are back. I know I really wanted to talk about this one, obviously, because I know you're such a huge fan of Jeff Hardy specifically, but the Hardy Boys in general. Mm-hmm. You actually watched this live, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I was in my basement.
What was your reaction when the Hardys were announced?
So
was there any rumors that you had read that was
yeah.
like pointing that they could be coming back?
So
because this was supposed to be a really well kept secret.
Their TNA contracts expired like the day before, and it expired like a couple days before, and then they had a couple shows that they were supposed to appear in, and one of them just happened to be like during WrestleMania, and people were like, "Oh, the Hardys are gonna come back," and it's like, nah, that doesn't really make much sense. Also, they're just getting older, so there were some people that just didn't want them to return. I just kind of wanted them to, do like a one-off, like for the match, but spoiler alert, they won the match. That took me by surprise. I was a little conflicted at the time because even I want the Hardys to always be on top, but at the time, Enzo and Cass were extremely popular.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, no one could touch them. Enzo was just a good mic person, and Cass was the typical big guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, think of, like, Rob and Big. Like, that was them in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
The club was kind of popular because, the rumors of AJ Styles and stuff like that, and, forming the Bullet Club again and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't use the Bullet Club name for obvious reasons, but yeah, like there was a point where I was sitting with my sister, and she was like, "Have you paid attention to any rumors about the Hardys?" And I was like, "Yeah, I mean they were at like a convention, within the area, but there's nothing that got leaked because at the time." Something always got leaked about WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
And it was always more or less about a big return, a big match, or a big title change. The big three. And they said nothing about the Hardys. And then all of a sudden, their music hit. And the crowd fucking erupted.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Mm-hmm. And like I said on here, the spots in this match were great. Nothing new, but it was one of those broken record, or if it's not broke, don't fix it type deals, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone loves the swanton off the ladder on going through someone that's on a ladder. That's a classic spot. Mm-hmm. I'm fine with them repeating it. That's why I didn't give it a 10, because obviously a lot of the spots were repeats. We've seen a twist of fate off the ladder. I still love seeing the twist of fate off the ladder, and he hit someone new on it, so that's still a big thing. And of course, the other people, like I said, they got great offense in as well. You kind of already answered one of my questions I was going to ask, which was the Hardys winning this the right choice that you think?
At the time, no. From a crowd engagement / fan favorite, I thought it should have been Enzo and Cass. Mm-hmm. I mean, their SAWFT soft, knew that by heart. Everyone knew it by heart. Cesaro and Sheamus, they were called the Bar. I mean, they were just kind of like that middleman tag team thrown together. So I kind of knew they weren't going to win, but, just for a swerve aspect, because, Zack Ryder wins. That was a swerve. Mm-hmm. And then the club, I thought that they were wholeheartedly either going to make the club win, and then that's when they were going to call over other members, or not call over, sign other members of the Bullet Club and whatnot. But at the end of the day, I always knew Enzo and Cass should have been the ones to win it. Whether if it was for a month or two. Because, I mean, again, Enzo wasn't the greatest wrestler. He wasn't that great. Cass was a good big dude. He was very popular. It wasn't until the latter part of his WWE tenure where he just kind of fell off. Right.
I mean, personally, I anytime the Hardy Boys are the champions, that's usually a good thing for the WWE in terms of the tag team division. They always seem to breathe life into it. I don't necessarily think they're needed now in modern times, but I mean, I really don't have too much of an opinion on this because, again, I wasn't really watching wrestling on a regular basis at this point, so I don't know what the state of the tag team division was at this time, whereas you do. So, for me, this was just a cool callback, a cool comeback. Nice to see him get a win, of course, but like you said, I would have been fine with Enzo and Cass winning as well, or any of these teams winning, really.
So, if you take, like, Jimmy and Jay Uso, Damian Priest, Finn Balor, the LWO, like the tag teams now are by far better than what they were.
Oh,
here.
absolutely. Overall, great match, great return to tag team ladder matches, and yeah, great spot on this card. Definitely worth a view if you're interested. But any closing statements for you as far as this match is concerned?
Nope.
Oh, nice, short and sweet, less than 10 minutes. That's always the goal. Back to me. Is it pinky out or no pinky?
It's this.
Back to me. So, welcome back. I loved it. I thought this match was a 9 out of 10. I thought it was fantastic. Rob thought it was a B. We've discussed this at length by now, so we will go ahead and set this. It is going to end up being a 9. We'll put it at a 9 here, even though he didn't give it a B+. He didn't give it a B+. We'll call it an 8. We'll call it an 8. We'll call it even, and move on from there. Next up, we have John Cena and Nikki Bella versus Maurice and The Miz. What in the fuck have they done to John Cena storylines? This was around the time where Cena was no longer really running full-time in the WWE. He was kind of in his side quest area, if you will, so I guess I'll give him a pass for it. The Miz was actually over at this time, and Cena was Cena. While Miz and Cena were in the match, it was passable, but Maurice was never great in the ring, and this showcased that hard. I do think the attitude, the AA Rack Attack combo, that was fantastic. It's how they won. They both ended up pinning their respective person after it. But this match's real point was for Cena to propose, which again, beautiful scene at the time, so romantic. It felt really interesting to see this side of Cena, but knowing how this relationship would go on to end kind of soils the moment a little bit because they're not together anymore. So you had this big spectacle, and then that's it. They never make it work. So I am judging this match specifically for the match itself and not for the post-match stuff. I gave this match a 4 out of 10. A C-. Rob gave it a C, so it is going to end up getting bumped up to that 5, because it's going to be that 4.5, so it's going to end up getting bumped up to a 5, but man, what have they done to John Cena? Well, I know what they've done to John Cena. Love happened to John Cena. It kills all of us at some point. Next up, we have Seth Rollins versus Triple H in a non-sanctioned match. The stipulation here was to protect the WWE in case Triple H intentionally crippled Seth Rollins. That's how bad this feud had gotten at this point. I loved Seth Rollins' entrance. Triple H's, dog shit. Great idea. Police escort while him and Stephanie McMahon are riding the big motorbike, but the problem is the arena was so small and enclosed. They could go like 4 miles an hour, maybe. Rollins is working his ass off this entire showcase. And that's really what this is, a showcase. Finally, a Triple H 25-minute epic that wasn't just him dominating the entire time. When he was on top, it was 2010's Triple H plotting and slow, methodical targeting of limbs. Seth selling his knee was all over the place, but that's kind of typical for Seth Rollins. I love Seth. I think he's an amazing wrestler. He's great at selling when he takes a move, but he's not great at showing that that injury is still there after the move is over. The finish was great. Crowd loves seeing Stephanie get hurt. Super kick pushing trips onto Stephanie off the apron into a table. Then a pedigree to Triple H for the win. It was the first time that Rollins has pulled that pedigree out, and he did it to basically disrespect Triple H, but also take advantage of a still well-protected finisher at the time. Rollins' Phoenix Splash is so glorious. He really is the best overall wrestler in modern day, in my opinion, and I think this match showed it. If you want proof that Seth Rollins is one of the best at what he does in general, watch this match. It is worth it. Overall, I gave this match, you know, I thought this match was pretty good. I gave this match a 7. Rob agrees. He gave his match a B, so a 7 is where it's going to go. I was shocked that this match was as good as it was. I really am. Because Triple H has not put on very many bangers in the last few years, so very, very, very fair to be speculative when it comes to Triple H WrestleManias. Next up, we have Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt for the WWE title. This match was odd. Projecting maggots and worms and cockroaches on the ring was definitely a sight, but it's another Bray Wyatt match that prioritizes sights and stories over wrestling. And atmosphere over wrestling. Randy seemed to be hell-bent on hitting the RKO and nothing except the RKO, which was a little frustrating. He didn't really do much else. Everything Wyatt did was to set up Sister Abigail. There just wasn't enough to really warrant anything engaging. Randy kept leaving the ring to reset. Also, whenever he'd see the bugs, he would freak out. But he spent more time outside the ring than inside, which ruined any chance this match had to get into rhythm. Every time they started to get engaging, they'd intentionally stop and walk around and move this match in slow motion. The RKO out of nowhere, after almost no setup, wins the match. It's a 2 out of 10. There's just no impact. It's not a good match at all. Randy barely reacted to the scenes on the mat except to leave the ring and walk around. He didn't really give enough to warrant the mind games, and Bray didn't do enough offense to make this above a match that happened effectively. I gave this match a 2. It wasn't good. Rob agrees, gave this match a D-, so a 2 is what this match is going to be, which is unfortunate. Randy Orton would, of course, go on to win, because Bray can't get anything at WrestleMania, it seems, but if this is all you've got to show for it, I love them both, but this wasn't good. Next up, we have Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg. Paul Heyman deserves to be inducted into the Hall of Fame just off of this pre-match promo alone. Perfectly honest with you. The man spins stories like no one else does. It's a 5-minute sprint that disproves my theory before that you cannot have a decent match without time. Goldberg walks the dog on Lesnar, spears him to the barricade, then suddenly Lesnar becomes part kangaroo, leaps over Goldberg as he spears the turnbuckle. A very iconic scene. Hits 10 suplexes, count them, 10, and then 1 F5. And that's it. Match is over. Boom. Is this match good? No. Is it entertaining? Absolutely. I actually enjoyed this match. It's very entertaining. So I gave it a 6 out of 10. I thought it was, you know, it was decent for what it was, and Rob agrees. He gave it a C+ as well, so a 6 is what it is going to be. Next up, we have the WWE SmackDown Women's Title 6-Pack Challenge between Naomi, who would go on to win, against Alexa Bliss, who was the champion coming in, Becky Lynch, Carmella, Mickie James, and Natalya. Steampunk Becky was always a vibe, is basically the only woman given enough time to really shine in this match. She kind of bounces off of everyone else. The double sharpshooter was a great idea, but was botched, it seemed. Mickie looked great, but this was too many cooks in the kitchen. There's too many wrestlers, not enough time. One woman hits one move, dumped to the outside, then the next woman repeats the process. The Naomi finish, getting the back of her, the Naomi finish getting back her title, because Naomi would go on to win this match, that she never really lost in front of her home crowd of Orlando. It was a great scene, but this match never really had a chance to shine or cook. I gave this match a 4 out of 10. Again, I love seeing Naomi get a win at WrestleMania. I love seeing the story of her not technically losing that title and getting it back. I love the scenes of her doing this in front of her home crowd and everyone being super happy for her. But overall, this match didn't get a lot of reaction from the crowd. It's too many cooks, and it just never has a chance to shine. So, Rob actually gave his match a worse grade. I gave it a 4. He gave it a D+. He gave it a 3. A 4 is where it's going to end up settling at because of that. It's going to end up being a 3.5, so that is where it's going to go, a 4. And last but not least, in this bloated fucking card here, we have Roman Reigns versus Undertaker, with Roman winning and being Undertaker's second loss. The fans, another forced Roman push, continues to drive the fans off the wall. The story of this match was about Undertaker's failing body. Just make Roman heel. Like, that's what it took. You've tried and tried and tried to force Roman into the face, and again, you fail. Now, I wasn't watching WWE at this time, but supposedly the Monday after this Mania, he was greeted by so many boos because he beat The Undertaker that a lot of people believe this is when they started putting the tribal chief plans into gear at some point. Now, of course, they would not pull the trigger on that at first because, of course, they don't. They didn't pull the trigger on John Cena when you should have done it 4 fucking times. Why would you pull the trigger on Roman Reigns, the guy that you're building to be the biggest babyface in the company? Why would you pull the trigger on turning him heel? I get it, but it's not working. It wasn't working with Cena. And just like John Cena, you need to put him heel. If he's going to get booed anyway, make the boos mean something. Look at him now as the tribal chief. The boos mean something. It's important. I think they waited way too long with Roman. This was another forced face run. There really isn't a ton to talk about here, which is sad for a 20-minute match. Taker and Reigns have good back and forth until the table spot where Taker hurts his hip, and he's just not good from there. The crowd doesn't even boo half the match. It's quiet during the match unless Taker's in control. It's not the worst match of all time. It's not the worst Roman Reigns match, and it's not the worst Undertaker match. It's just about the halfway point the botches begin, and now the match is starting to fall apart. Taker can't sell without hurting his hip. Roman can't carry him. Taker can't really hit his moves without any impact. The tombstone was a horribly timed spot. There was nothing leading up to it, so we knew that he was going to be kicking out of it this time. It wasn't even a dramatic spot. It wasn't even, oh, he kicked out. No, we knew he was going to do it. What the fuck? He did it randomly. There was nothing leading to it. No suspense or drama like the last few tombstone kickouts. Roman can't pick up Undertaker for the tombstone himself. He tries to fix it with a punch, and it kills the crowd. He botched the pickup. Even the Hell's Gate doesn't get the crowd hype anymore. Roman hits him with the flurry of spears. Taker can't set up, so Roman takes him out of his misery. Worst of all, it's so sad to see Taker in this final state of his body. This match was just, it was hard to watch. It was really hard to watch. Had this been his retirement match, it would have made sense, because he clearly couldn't go anymore. I am glad it wasn't his swan song. I have recently just watched the Boneyard match, and that is a perfect send-off for Undertaker as a character. But this was supposed to be a handing down of the torch that no one wanted. Again, for the 5th time it seems, no one wanted Roman Reigns. That's why this match is so bad. I gave this match a 3 out of 10. The beginning is good, the middle is botch-filled, the finish is horrible. It's a 3 out of 10. It's one of the worst WrestleMania main events that I've seen. Definitely in the bottom 10 of WrestleMania, or bottom 5 rather, of WrestleMania main events. There's definitely worse ones, but this one's bad. I gave it a 3 out of 10. Rob slightly disagrees. Gave this match a C-, which is going to be a 4. The 0.5 rule that we mentioned earlier is going to bump it up to a 4. But this match just exists. It's another one that's just here, and it's unfortunate. So, let's go ahead and figure out what the overall score of this WrestleMania card is. So, this WrestleMania breaks down to a perfect 5.7. Again, it's not terrible. The top of the card definitely outweighs the bottom of the card, which is why you're going to get close to that C+ range of a WrestleMania, but a lot of missed opportunities here. That Bray Wyatt-Randy Orton match was just bad. Roman Reigns-Undertaker was bad. The six-pack challenge was bad. It was okay. Overall, 5.7 is what you got here. So, I will see you guys tomorrow with WrestleMania 34. Until then, you'll have a fantastic night, and I shall see you then.